All right, guys, what's going on? Megan here. Sorry, I'm in a rush. I'm actually making my late night snack. All right, I got a question from a subscriber. He wants to know how to get back in the gym. So he's saying, "Hey man, I've been kind of falling off hard on my training. I haven't hit the gym in a while. It's been over 2 months. I used to work out for 2 years consistently. Then I lost the motivation. Lost the motivation. And I remember you said you had a period where you were pretty much sedentary 24/7. You play video games all day. You felt like crap, and blah blah blah. And I feel like I'm falling into that lifestyle." Blah blah blah. Let me skip the. Anyway, not to bore you with the details, here's my question to you. How did you snap out of the train, so not being able to do anything? I was just bullshitting all day because you guys know my story. I went through that trance where I was just I had no life. I really didn't give a fuck. But anyway, if you could go back, how would you prevent yourself from falling into it in the first place? Now, I'm happy that you actually asked that. How do you prevent yourself from falling into that? I wouldn't go back and change that because falling into that state is actually what birthed what I am today, right? Falling into that state is what birthed Team 3Ds, what birthed the desire to become better and to keep climbing, climbing, climbing. It's kind of like building muscle, right? I told you guys about mTOR, how you gotta take sometimes 2 weeks off to reset everything, to make your body a new begin, to make it susceptible to make it sensitive to stimulus and blah blah blah. The universe is all about balance. You need periods where you don't train, you lost interest and all these things. Why? You need that because it allows you to. We we live in a fast-paced society where we do everything fast, really, really, really fast, right? So we never really have time to think to see if we actually going into the destination we want to go. Usually we're just walking because everybody else is walking. You get what I mean? So sometimes you need those periods where life knocks you back down on your ass and you sit there and think, oh shit, where am I? Where am I coming from? Where am I going? Right? And it gives you time to rethink and reset everything, reset your goals, reset. So I tell people to always ask yourself questions. Have a list of questions that you ask yourself every morning or every week, right? Once a week, whatever. To ask yourself, what inspires me? What excites me? What is my passion? Am I following my passion? Where am I going? What do I hate? What do I love? Find time to stop and meditate or just ask yourself, what am I doing here? Who am I? Because a lot of times you might know the answers to these things, begin the journey, and like I said, get distracted and just keep going further than your destination, or get distracted and make a left or a right turn. So unless somebody stops you, right, you would never really stop and think, oh shit, am I on the right track? So sometimes life, in order to preserve you, to make sure you don't just wander off and aimlessly, will sit you back down in your ass, right? And that's what happened to me. It knocked me down. And then for everybody's gonna be a different thing, but whatever happened to me knocked me down and made me think, right? Am I where I want to be? Am I doing this for the right reason? So number one thing, I looked at your question and I thought before answering because I see myself in you, and that's why I love helping people because I feel the pain of the outcast, the lonely, the depressed, whatever, because I experience all these things, right? So I can relate to you, motherfucker. That's why I do it for free. Um, so I sat down and I wrote down like a three-step thing to kind of like understand your situation, right? So this is not really for you, this is really for me to be able to answer your question. Number one, I put pinpoint. 3 steps, call it Megan's 3 steps to recovery or whatever, to finding yourself. Number one is pinpoint. You want to pinpoint what it is that knocked you down in the first place. I noticed in your message you didn't really tell me what it is that happened, maybe because you want to keep it private or whatever. But number one, pinpoint whatever it is that happened to you that made you, you know, fall down your ass. Based on a lot of messages I get, 9 out of 10 times it's usually because of relationships, right? People, a lot of guys tell me, oh, my girl dumped me, or my girl broke up with me, or my girl cheated on me, or whatever. I feel like shit, and then they lose the desire to do everything. So number one, pinpoint what it is that knocked you down. Usually it's because something has been taken from you. It doesn't always have to be the girl scenario, but it's usually because you lost something. You lost something that you valued, and it made you like, wow, I don't want to live life anymore. This was my everything. That's not always the case, but it usually is the case. Number one, pinpoint what it is that knocked you down, what it is that made you stop going to the gym, what was taken from you. Number two, once you pinpoint what was taken from you, make a new goal. Everything starts with a decision. Make a new decision, make a new goal to recover whatever was taken from you. You got to have that mindset where you refuse to have anything taken from you, right? You say, if somebody takes something from me, I'm getting it back 10 times, right? You got to have that mindset. You're not always going to succeed, but in the journey to getting back what was stolen from you, you're sending two messages to the universe. Two messages. Number one is you're not to be fucked with, right? Don't fuck with me. I'm gonna come after you. That's one. And number two is you as you're going to try to retrieve what was stolen from you, you're also gonna find other things. You're gonna stumble upon other things, right? Back in the days when I like reading the Old Testament, the stories of David, where people came in, stole his wives and his possessions, and he went back to retrieve what was stolen from him. Not only he got back what was stolen from him, but he got the spoils of war. He got other things along the way. So you might not always get back what was taken from you, but in a way, you might pick up new things. You might discover new things, right? On my way to try to recover what was taken from me, I learned several things that I never would have learned, unless I had began that expedition. So sometimes it's just life trying to give you a new perspective, a new goal, a new direction, a new way to head. So number one, like I said, pinpoint what knocked you down. Number two, make a new goal to recover what was taken from you. Let the world know you're not to be fucked with. Even if you're gonna fail, at least get out of your comfort zone and make that goal. I'm gonna get this back and even more, right? It's not about the destination, it's the journey, right? And number three, I put keep fueling the fire, right? Once you make that new decision, that new goal to retrieve what was taken from you, or to retrieve whatever it was that you were that was taken from you, find a way to keep the fire going. How do you do that? If you're a male and you're very competitive, don't shut down your ego. Fuel your ego. Fuel your competitive nature, right? Um, always, I tell people, always surround yourself with people bigger and better than you. This way, it will awake. It will stimulate that alpha gene, that testosterone, that mentality that I always want to be the best. I always want to be the best. That's not a bad mentality to have, people. It gets bad when you think you're above everybody and you could just stomp on everybody. But it's not bad as long as you use it as a way to fuel yourself. Like, hey, I want to be better. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be better, right? Trees want to be big, right? Cheetahs want to be fast, right? There's nothing wrong for a guy wanting to be the best that he can be, right? So find a way to fuel your fire by exposing yourself to people bigger and better than you. Fuel that competitive nature, because I guarantee you, if if you have like the biggest biceps in the world, right? And then somebody comes in front of you and has bigger biceps than you, first thing you're gonna be is like, oh fuck that, man. I'm used to having my spotlight and this guy's taking, and you're gonna go and train harder and eat better, whatever. So as long as you expose yourself to people bigger and better than you, you'll always have fuel added to your fire, right? You become weak and isolated and mediocre when you plunge back into the sea of mediocrity. Right? You surround yourself with mediocre friends and people that just don't give a fuck or whatever. You become like them. I'm not saying they're bad, right? But your atmosphere decides a lot about your life, right? Surround yourself with smart people, big people, whatever your goal is. Expose yourself. Remind yourself that there's more. That there's more out there. Always remind yourself that there's more steps to the ladder. I always tell people satisfaction is the enemy of progress. Satisfaction is the assassin of progress. Remember, you satisfied with the way you look or the way you, how much you bench or whatever, you will never grow. So always expose yourself. Go on YouTube, right? If you're a bodybuilder, go on YouTube and look at bigger bodybuilders, right? If you're a football player, go on YouTube and look at faster, bigger football players. Whatever it is to keep the fire burning. Anyway, this video is too fucking long. Hope this helps. Number one, pinpoint what knocks you down. Number two, make a goal to get it back. And number three, keep the fire burning by exposure. All right. Hope that answers your question. And I really, really, really feel your pain because I've been there. All right. Message me. Let me know how things go.